Welcome back to How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. Anime Review, episode number 5. This one covering the 14th episode of the anime, Head Paladin. This one adapts from chapter 3 of book 4. This one introduction to about 4 new characters. You have the head Paladin himself, Brutus. He makes a debut in this episode. A new character named Horn, who, from what I can tell, is pretty much in a lot of the books from this book 4. Yeah, she's even in the most recent book released for this series. Yep. There's also the debut of Sharu. She's a mage. She briefly appears for like one scene. That's it. And there's also the governor of the Zircon Tower, Phineas Lemurtors. Yeah, and she is a sniper. Yes, she basically fires the main tower itself. Now, simply put, the episode starts off, from what I can tell, not long after the events of last. They mentioned it's been 2 weeks since they left, since they started their journey. And they basically commandeer their boat and they're basically riding on sand. No, not the first anime I've seen do this. As a matter of fact, this is the second anime I've seen do this, where you have a boat and it basically rides on sand. The last known series I've seen do this was actually Trigun, believe it or not. Yes, they actually had a couple episodes set on a ship that basically rides on sand. I'm like, that's interesting. Of course, it's a wooden ship, not a modern day cruise ship like it was in that one. And then, of course, they arrive at the town. The Zircon Tower, and apparently the place is kind of like, well, a very terrible looking place. Not like basically more criminals or whatever. People look in very poor conditions. And it's explained that, well, they're basically, they're walking through town. Of course, Diablo counts a girl whose name is Horn. She doesn't say her name is Horn yet, but this is where she makes the debut. She is the same species as the head of the Avengers Guild in the town they're based in, which, yeah, she's a grass walker. That's the name of the species, despite the fact she looks like a rabbit man. Yep. I'm just checking something. Okay. Yeah, so basically she describes, oh yeah, you want to come and do a new dungeon, basically, this is covered? And based on the description of it, it's like, you're like, yeah, it's pretty accurate to basically how his dungeon is. And then we hear that, well, this woman wants to see her baby get healed. Oh, by the way, she's actually not a human per se. She is looks like she's the same kind of species as Rem, a cat person. So, but the thing is, they can't provide a healing thing unless they go to the church and provide a donation. A big, humongous one. And I'm like, really? Yeah, there is a reason for this. Because the governor, apparently not a believer in God, decided to shut down the church. So they have to depend upon large donations in order to basically continue what they do. So then of course then of course you have the head priest herself just healed the baby. And of course, according to Diablo, it's known as death knell disease. It's basically a disease that he is actually familiar with, probably because he basically read in crossover. So heals it. And then a sand whale shows up that looks like a giant freaking mountain. And then he casts a spell on it. And then we have 2 more spells basically casted. First one casted by the head paladin himself, and the governor herself basically gets a chance to fire it in. He's like, oh, it's a magical gun. From that far away. Yeah, it must be a sniper. And they meet the head priest. And, oh yeah, by the way, the arrogant guy who disrespected him before. Yeah, the head paladin realizes, though, that he's doesn't care much for Diablo. But disrespecting the head priest, that's a no-no. So this guy gets punched right in the frickin' nose. Basically breaking the man's nose. Obviously. And then, of course, they chat. Of course, Diablo reveals that he tells the head priest, yeah, he was the one. And the thing is, the governor herself, like, trying to figure out who cast the spell, was like, so what do you do if you found this spell? I'll have it work for me. He's probably thinking, nah, I don't want to work for her. He also mentions that he uses something called a cape known as Crimson Wings, a very rare item from Crossover. Yeah, he knows this. Then he just go back to the mansion. Provide on a lift. On a sled that rides on sand. I'm like, could these people not afford wheels? Why the sled for? That just doesn't make any sense. Why in the world it's like that for? Maybe because sled doesn't get stuck as much as wheels do. It's possible. So then they pass by one of the tents. Basically, they have and apparently it's divided by large sums. And well, he had to prioritize the larger donors over the not the big ones in order to basically satisfy the church because well they couldn't regularly operate the church. And they go to his mansion. This is where we're introduced to the head maid. She makes the first appearance in this particular scene where they're eating curry. Yes, they're eating curry. Diablo thinks, wow, this is the first time I actually tried something from my world. And he loves it. And then, of course, right afterwards, the priest's like, can we talk for a bit? And that part is not saved till toward the end of the episode, which, yeah, don't get a chance to hear a word before the episode ends abruptly like that. So then we cut to seeing Diablo taking a bath. Yes, a bath in a bucket. It's one of those big round medieval style buckets. I kind of thought though, because a lot of the time when they do these type of series, they usually a lot of the time we usually adapt the style of Japanese style bathing. But this one, no, it basically goes to medieval Europe style bathing. Okay, though they have Shira comment. Of course, Diablo is sitting butt naked in this tub. And by the way, I think this is the first or second time we see the tattoo on his shoulder. I mean, the tattoo on his cheek has been there the whole time. But this is the first time I can think I've actually seen his shoulder tattoo. Maybe because it's been obscure, I'm not really sure. So then Shira comes in, takes off her top and her look like her panties, and then she proceeds to wash Diablo with her bare hands. I'm like, where's the soap? And then she washes back, and then she washes his front, and where her hands going, like, wait, is she gonna go below the belt? Nope. It's like, what's this hard thing? Oh, she's grabbing his horn. Okay. Yeah. An obvious joke basically here. I'm not gonna say what it is, but it'd be kind of inappropriate basically for a child to figure out what exactly what I mean by this. And kids, don't ask your parents what this means, because not even they want to discuss basically what goes on below the belt, where Shira was going with her hand. And then the episode ends with Rem and the head priest start trying to start a conversation with the head paladin. That's the episode ends. A pretty good episode. It's mostly just a continuation, basically, of what we said from last week. I mean, it almost seems as though we have a start for this particular season. Now, apparently, I looked at apparently, not only does last week adapt from the chapter 2, which I was correct about that, it also adapts from the interlude. Yes, so presumably this one probably also adapts from interlude 2 as well. It's possible to say the least. Yeah, so that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my review for Urashima Princess Half Demon. Yep, that will be next. Actually, no. I think I'm just going to go straight to do because I want to basically just get some elements of the way I'm going to do the hidden dungeon I can enter, and then case closed, and then I'll do 2 Funimation ones that are dubbed, and that'll be it for today, okay? Good deal. Bye.